everyone. Welcome to Real Words. I'm your host, Rayanne Thorn Krueger. I'm very excited to launch this series. And my guest today is guest number one in a 10-part series sponsored by Beachtown Books and their pop up author event that's happening in a couple of weeks in San Clemente, California. My first guest today is Kari Elizabeth. Hey, Kari, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be your first guest. How are you doing?
It's very exciting to have you here. I am doing well, and I'm really happy that you agreed to sit down and have a quick chat with us about your new book that has been released called Discarded: A Journey of Self Discovery, Independence, and Healing. Thanks for joining us, Carrie. And if you could give us just a brief introduction of yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name is Kari Elizabeth, and I'm an author as well as a journalist and poet. I have a degree in journalism and had a few journalism jobs. And I recently self published a poetry book, and now my book, Discarded.
So tell us a little bit about Discarding. What inspired this book?
I've always wanted to write a book about my life because I was adopted and I have a twin sister. So that's where my book starts out from. I never really found the perfect time to write my book because, I recently graduated from university, so I was always busy with school and work. But I kind of found the perfect time in between trying to figure out what I want to do with my journalism work. So I was kind of like in between jobs, if you will. And that's why I was like, you know what, let me just start writing that book that I always wanted to write.
Wow. And has this been something you've always wanted to do since you were young, to be a writer?
Yeah, I've always had a talent for writing, but I feel like I never really uh brought it out, if you will, until like my early adulthood, late teens probably. Um, I started off with poetry, like writing poems. So that's kind of how I discovered my writing talent. Because like as I showed it to my friends and family, they all like were amazed by my writing, and then that's what led me to going into journalism because I like to write, and I was always interested in many different topics and curious about things and learning about people's experiences and whatnot. So that's kind of like what got me started to write. And yeah, since then writing's been my creative outlet and tool that I use to connect with people. Because I was also like shy growing up. So
Oh, we froze a little bit. Are you still there?
yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Sometimes there's a glitch if there's a pause. So thank you for staying with us. So, writing, you chose to be a writer. Now you have self published your book, Discarded. Can you give us a synopsis of the book? You're frozen again. Carrie, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. You kind
There
of
you
froze
go.
for a
Okay.
second.
Sometimes if it freezes, if you have a touchpad on your laptop, you can just like run your finger over that and that will unfreeze
Okay,
you. Because
cool.
sometimes if it's your computer will automatically freeze if it's still for a while. So
Right.
can you just tell us a little bit more of the inspiration behind the book? You found out that you were adopted. At new how old were you when you found out you were adopted? Shoot, I'm losing you.
Hi, I'm sorry. You're asking me for the inspiration of my book, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so what inspired me to write my book is um I always felt like my personal experiences would help inspire others to get through their own personal struggles because number one, growing up as an then I also have a twin sister, and so I always thought that was an interesting dynamic in itself. And then as I got older, trying to figure out family, I always thought that it'd be a good story to tell and let other people know of like what I've been through and kind of inspire them to help them get their own experiences.
Great, great. I'm excited for you to be at the author event in a week or two at Beachtown Books. tell us, do you have any advice for somebody that's thinking about becoming a writer or somebody that's been writing for a long time and just hasn't jumped in? Like, I know you were talking about how you finally felt you had the time to write this book. Tell us
Yeah,
what kind of advice you might give.
I feel like it wasn't probably only the time. I feel like it was definitely about my confidence as well. Because I'll admit for a while I was a little nervous to like put my writing out there. But I feel like once I gained the confidence, that definitely helped. So like my advice would be to like don't be afraid to like put your writing out there or even like write it down for yourself to begin with and just start writing what you feel and your thoughts and whatever inspires you and just take it one step at a time too. Like if you break it down, it'll definitely help you complete it and stay focused on what you want to tell, and share with your audience.
That's great advice. I think I've heard many times that the best advice is just do it. Just start
Yeah,
writing,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Just start
Yeah.
writing. And I think that's where many writers lack that confidence behind it, like you suggested. So I really
Yeah, for sure.
appreciate
Because I know
that's
for me, once I started writing my book, honestly, it only took me like a couple months to complete it because I'm someone like once I set out a goal, I like stick to it and I broke it down each week. I was like, I'm gonna write a couple of chapters each week, and
good.
before I knew it, I was done with my book. So that's how I kind of finished it fairly quickly, in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
But I
How
feel like
long did it take
writing
you to write? How long
yeah,
did it
I feel
take you
like
to write it?
writing like comes naturally to me. Like
Good.
once like it just flows out of me once I'm able to like get rid of my writer's block, if you will. And um, I was able to write it within like I spent a good couple hours each day that I wrote it. And also like writing for me is very therapeutic as well.
Yes.
Especially since I was talking about myself and my experiences, that also like helped me throughout the writing process as well.
Yes, another piece of advice I've often heard is write about what you know. And
Exactly, yeah.
who knows you better than you, right?
No, yeah, for sure, definitely. I do feel like this is one of my best writing that I've done so far, and I know it's only going to open up so many more opportunities for me.
Oh, that's so exciting for you. So, how long did it take you in totality to start the book to end the book, finish the book, finish your
Yeah,
writing
so it
part?
only took me like a couple, 2, 3 months to
Wow.
to finish it. Yeah, because like I said, like I have that goal that I want to write a book, and I'm gonna. My goal is to finish it by the new year. So
Okay.
I
Very
started
good.
it like in October, and I was like, I want to finish it by the new year, so it can be out for the beginning of the new year.
That's
So
wonderful. That's
yeah.
wonderful. And if folks want to get your book, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so right now my book is available on Amazon, so you can just go to Amazon and type in Discarded by Kari Elizabeth, and it'll pop up. My book will also be available on Barnes and Noble
Great.
soon and other platforms where books are sold.
Great. And just for folks that might be listening that are interested in writing and possibly looking into self publishing, how hard was that for you to do?
So I did do a little bit of research before and looked around. Um, there's this site called Lulu Publishing that people can look into, where they give you a self-publishing guidebook, if you will. It's free to look over, and I did a bit of research. I looked what it took to like go about self-publishing, and me, I always start with an outline, so that also helped me to like with the process. And so yeah, I just did a bit of research. I wrote down the steps that I needed to take to write my book and then put it together. And then I did have a few friends and family who helped me like edit it and put it together. And then once you finish writing your draft, you can upload it and they'll self help you self publish it and also help you create a cover design as well.
Wonderful. Our guest today is author Kari Elizabeth. Kari, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I hope to like put out more books and do more work as a journalist. And I'm also going to be attending the Los Angeles Book Festival coming up at
Oh,
USC.
great.
So I will be there on Sunday, the 21st, right after I do the book event at Beachtown Books. So I'm hoping to go there and have some fun and network with people and let them know about my book, and yeah, just continue networking and sharing my book with everyone and seeing what opportunities come from that.
That's wonderful. Our guest today, again, part one in a 10-part series sponsored by Beachtown Books. Our Beachtown series is Kari Elizabeth, Discarded, a journey of self discovery, independence, and healing. This is your memoir. How
Yes, it is. You know,
exciting
like
for you!
I was very nervous to put it out, to be honest. But like I said, I know it's going to be a very powerful message that connects with people, and I know that if I could inspire just a few people, I know that that's a positive thing. And you know, I know my book is going to be impactful and be a success. And also, how I came about with my title is because growing up, I did kind of feel like at times discarded by people, you know, especially being adopted. So that's kind of like where my title came from. And, you know, I do feel like my journey is about, you know, me discovering myself and becoming independent and then healing from all my past struggles and traumas. So that's kind of where my title came about as well.
Carrie, I'm wondering, with the day and age of technology that we're in, do you think that there is a risk that we will not have as much creativity in future generations?
That's a good question, you know, and like as a journalist, I also ask myself similar questions about that as well. I don't know. I mean, we can see, I mean, because nowadays anyone can put anything online and your work could also be misconstrued, and there's a lot of misleading information out there as well. So you really have to like be a watchdog, if you will, and watch what you're consuming and reading and what's truthful and what's not. And nowadays, I feel like people are like maybe slightly nervous to put out their creative work as well because you never know how it could be perceived or misinterpreted or even altered in some cases.
Right.
So you definitely have to be mindful about that.
I love that answer. Thank you for sharing that. I know that wasn't I didn't prep you with that kind of question, but it's
Oh no,
really
of course. I mean, like as a journalist, I am also like prepared
of
for any
course you
kind of
are.
questions and also coming up with questions on the fly myself. So yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's the purpose behind Real Words. The purpose has been to celebrate original content, to recognize that it is at risk because of the type of technology that is out there, and just to remember that there are folks like you, like me, that are still producing good quality written content that is not written by anything that isn't human.
Right. No, yeah. I feel like
Right.
nowadays, some people like they're like nervous or afraid to like consume content because they're like, oh, we don't know where it's coming from, or some people might misconstrue it as like a conspiracy theory or things like that. So I think
Very
having
true.
genuine people to spread messages, if you will, is definitely a positive, and that's something I aspire to do as well myself, both as a journalist, as an author.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so informative, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to sit down with us, talk about your book, and share with us, give us some insight about your process and what's next for you. We are looking forward to seeing you at the Beachtown Books event, the pop-up author, not the pop-up author, but the author pop-up event.
Yes.
We did have a comment come in from one of the other authors that's going to be at the event. At the event, Matthew Arnold Stern has used lulu.com as well. So
Oh, cool.
that's a
Yeah, they're
great
definitely
promotion for it.
a great company for anyone who wants to look into self publishing their own books.
That's great. Thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate you joining us today, and we will see you at the event.
All right, I will see you there. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
You got it.